Hi guys, this is Mr. Kennedy, and while this is my house, this is not an episode of MTB Cribs. Today we'll be talking about the Sumerians, and specifically the people that moved from Africa to the Middle East. There was a land called Mesopotamia, and we're going to talk about some of the accomplishments that they came up with today. If you hear a word, or see a word rather, that you do not know, please click stop or pause and then add that into your notes. Okay, we're going to get started. The Sumerians were among the first people to take advantage of new advancements, of the new achievements such as the use of tools, fire, and agriculture, and settled the area between the Tigris and Euphrates. Nearly everyone before the Sumerians were known as nomads, which are people who constantly move from place to place in search of food and better weather conditions. By around 4000 BC, the control of fire, use of tools, and agriculture, however, allowed this group of people to settle an area permanently. And the land in the southern part of Mesopotamia, which is the land between two rivers, became known as Sumer. Once settled, agricultural practice, or farming, replaced hunting and gathering as the most common way to feed families. Because of this, the size of the early farms also freed up workers to do specialized jobs. Once people had spare time to do things other than just hunting and gathering, many discoveries and further advancements were made. Among them were these things. They made pottery, jewelry making, so this is the first time people had their bling. Knives, spears, drills, and wedges were crafted by specialized people to refine tools and hunting weapons. Time was recorded for the first time ever. Calendars were made. Tablets were made for the purpose of record keeping. Music became a widespread method of spreading culture. This was a huge piece that brought other people into the Sumerian lifestyle. They created a polytheistic religion. Okay, remember, a polytheistic means having multiple gods, with gods that impacted specialized parts of their lives. So they prayed to gods like Enki, who was the god of their rivers, or An, the god of the sky. One of the greatest achievements of the Mesopotamians was the ability to write, share, and pass down language. They used a system of writing called cuneiform, which is the oldest example of writing ever known. Yes, the Egyptians had hieroglyphics, but that wasn't exactly a system of writing because a lot of times the pictures they drew could represent either syllables or they could represent ideas or entire paragraphs. So it was more a system of art that told a story than a writing system. But cuneiform is the name of the system of writing that the Sumerians came up with. It uses wedge-like shapes, and they easily make their marks on soft clay, and then they take the clay tablets that we talked about above, and they would bake them or fire them, and that would permanently record them. Okay, their alphabet is going to be shown here. What I'd like you guys to do is try to use their alphabet to write your name. And keep in mind the letters don't exactly work out the same way that ours do. Some of them are based on sounds that you make with your tongue, the palate, right? Try writing your name using this writing system on paper, and then take a picture of the paper, and then I'd like you to post it to the class discussion that I make. Another thing we're going to talk about is that Sumer was known for its architecture. On top of houses and other clay and brick buildings, the Sumerians were known for their great temples, for their gods, and these were called ziggurats. These inspired civilizations for millennia to come, and a millennia is thousands of years, right? To come, and the same design can be seen in other settlements around the world, namely South and Central American settlements, and especially Mexico were heavily influenced by the architectural designs that we'll see here. Some of the other achievements uh, were in the establishment of a military, the domestication of animals. That means like the control of animals. But one of the things that they're best known for is in the field of agriculture. We discussed it earlier that rivers were critical during this time period, and that civilizations began popping up because the climate was drier and cooler. But the Sumerians took advantage of their position in Mesopotamia, which that word means, the literally means the land between two rivers, and used the power of the Tigris and Euphrates to come up with irrigation canals, which are really just small ditches that channel water from the rivers basically to the small farms um, and agricultural plots that were too dry to grow very much food on their own. So they used the power of the rivers, diverted the water toward the crops, and then the crops were able to grow. Okay, I want you guys to check out the process of building irrigation canals, and then use the links that are posted below the video. Try making one yourself, just like the Mesopotamians did. You can click the link, try the game. Please do it with the sound off. That way people around you don't hear. Or if you have earbuds in, then you're good. But I'd like you guys to try that out because it's pretty fun, and it became a hugely important tool for civilizations for years to come. Thanks. Good luck.